by the end of this, by the end of this session, we should be able to explain the levels of motivating people to work. Remember to have, to succeed in any business, humanitarian work, personal business, the most important asset is the human resource here. And those are the people we put at the center. But before we dive into the topic, Joan, I'll request for your assistance. Quickly, just from the top of our heads, the comments chat, what do we understand by staff productivity, staff production? Yeah, that's our topic, but it's good for us to be together. Just 1-2 comments here and there, from any participant,
Okay. So what do we understand by staff productivity?
Okay. I don't see anything coming up.
Yeah, in the chat?
Yeah. Or in the meeting room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Just, okay, thank you so much. I see one comment. Doing more with your human resources. Thank you so much, Joan. Yeah. In summary, really, when we talk about productivity, its efficiency, effectiveness is basically that, doing more with the little you have. And in terms of human resource, it's how well we convert our time, effort, resources into valuable results. In terms of human resourcing, how well we are going to convert time, effort, resources into human results. And then production is the total volume of work, depending on what you're doing. So our session is to encourage staff productivity. That is why we needed to understand productivity. Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah. It's not a lecture, we are interacting. I'm aware I'm with professors. So in summary, really, I would want to understand just a quick question, individual exercise, again through the charts. What do we understand by Maslow's hierarchy of needs? What is it? What does it entail?
Okay. Okay, Lillian had also given a comment that ability for staff to work towards organizational objectives for the first question you have.
Lillian.
Yes. So what do we, okay, so people, let's type in the chat. What do we know the Maslow hierarchy of needs? We could type in there in the chat what we know about it. Yeah, that's what Mary Stella has asked us to do. Or if you can't type, please make sure you can also unmute and just tell us what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yes, I see 2 responses. Thank you very much, Barbara and Resty. Motivation, systematic way to reach self-actualization. Thank you for the responses, on Maslow's theory. We'll build on this. It's exactly what it is, So we'll go to our next slide. Staff safety. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Makes work easy. Okay. Next slide, please, Joan. So this is what Maslow's theory looks like, and it's something that you could use as an employer, employing staff to motivate them, but also as staff when you're out there looking for a job. For you to be able to deliver, you have to be self-driven. You have a company. These are the checks and balances we need to have, and it has helped me personally in having high and motivating teams. So we have a pyramid that has psychological, physiological needs, that is wages, finance, and incentives. We have the safety needs, like Barbara mentioned, and this is to do with our job security, workplace conditions. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, you correctly put it. We have the social needs, that is teams and belonging to a team, teamwork. We have self-esteem, performance appraisal, rewarding, and finally, self-actualization, training and development. This is summary how the blueprint looks like. And down there, there's an arrow that says high-level workplace motivation is impossible without the foundation security. So we can't think of the top of the pyramid if we don't satisfy the lower one, which is the basic salary and wages and incentives. Meaning, if you open your company, if you're starting a business like me, these are things you have at the back of your mind. So we'll quickly try to unpack each of them and relate to ourselves, our real work. Thank you. World of work, yeah. So level one, that is physiological needs. That is the basic. How much are you praying through needs, through the basic needs to meet people's daily life? Uganda, I think 1985, we had a minimum wage of about 6,000. It has not yet been hammered in. There was a law that was being discussed. Hopefully it will be finalized. But the key thing is, as an employer, if I'm opening up my company in Zombo or Moyo, I need to be able to give somebody carrying Joanne from Kampala what she'll be able to survive on. I should be able to pay her a salary that can meet her basic need. I should be able to provide incentives if it's a factory, a farm, a poultry industry, something that will help the people come to work. And of course, even with the casuals, the colleagues in human resource, there are contracts that don't entitle people to leave. But we need to find a way to ensure the staff we lead are motivated, have a way to have rest period, break period. So the first thing to motivate your employees is the physiological need. So as an employer, you need to have that at the back of your mind. Even as somebody looking for a job, there's a saying, work without play makes Jack a dull boy. As you're looking for your job, your own health and safety, you need to check and balance before you sign up a contract that these are taken care of. Thank you. We can go to our second hierarchy. Yes. Once we are done with the physiological, then job security and workplace become paramount. Right now, and as an employer, when you're looking for people, you need to really ensure that staff have good working conditions. They feel safe. They are not exposed to hazards. Right now, if you called me up to go to DRC Congo in the current form, because of the health systems, I would think twice. Ebola. Yeah, the health systems are below Uganda. So if you're being taken there, you really need to be sure you have your protective gear, you have the sanitizer, everything is okay. But even as if we go down to a farm level, you are employing people, you're looking after poultry birds. There is salmonella that comes to humans as typhoids. You need to be able to look after that casual worker, give them gumboots, give them jackets, give them gloves to do your work. If we come to the humanitarian work, we also need to be able to, there are HRA policies that's building things like danger pay, hazard pay, because some of our colleagues are not working in very safe environments. So it is important to ensure our workplaces, whether it's business in Chikubo, up to the highest level possible, is robust and has safety provisions. I imagine, Joanne, this is being done from a training hall. So I imagine, even that hotel has a fire escape route just in case fire breaks out. That is how it's important to have this. Once the staff, the people you employ feel they are safe, they are going to give it their best. And you, as employer, if you go for that, then you'll be employer of choice. You'll be spoiled for people to pick the best quality. Yeah. So remember, first, it's to satisfy the physiological needs, that is salary. And then we come to job security, we are workplace safety, fair pay. Yeah. And it yields high retention for the people we lead. Yeah. Our second hierarchy of needs is actually teams.
The third?
People love. Hello?
The third one, you said the third?
Yeah, the third one. Yeah. Our third hierarchy is teamwork, teams and people having a feeling of belonging. You remember when I was presenting the first two, I kept saying, oh, your business, your company, but the best way to succeed is for everybody to feel it's our business, it's our project. I have a say in it. Once they're sold up to the organization, to the firm, to the business you're setting up, then you're halfway done. And the best way to do that is equal treatment for everybody who is doing the same work, um, equal opportunities for competition, equal conditions for all staff members. Once we have this very good environment, then it's easy to generate ideas. Remember, sometimes the solutions are not with the manager, it's not with the HR head, it's not with the unit head, but it's from your teams that if you prepare a fertile ground, you're able to generate ideas that could take the operation to the next level. You're able to have better interaction, synergy within your team, increased coordination, and of course, overall team success. So if I started a business today, one of my tasks as a manager would be to make the people I work with feel it's our business, not it's your thing, it's the manager's thing. Once we incorporate the teamwork, this third hierarchy, people feel a sense of belonging, then there is high credibility and possibility to deliver. The sky becomes the beginning and not the limit. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Then we come to our fourth level, that is performance appraisals and rewards. This everybody wants to be valued, given responsibility, rewarded for what they do, but more importantly, provided feedback to get them better. So there are two types of appraisals. There's the one that we do periodically after 6 months, 7 months. That is made easier if we give the daily feedback, immediate feedback. If you're in a production line, food industry, if the mixing room doesn't mix well, the final product is definitely not going to come out well. So if you're in a biscuit production line, within 1 hour, you're able to take there's a problem, go to the mixing room and rectify it. Now, if we move from things like biscuits, even in our daily tasks in office, if things are not moving well and we have one-on-ones, daily meetings, weekly meetings, it makes the periodic structured appraisal easy. It corrects problems for the organization. It saves costs for your business. And there are really key things that we need to pay attention to when we're giving feedback appraisals. It's important to be specific. The real issue, where is the gap? It seems there's a challenge in the mixing room, enough wheat flour is not there, or the workers don't come on time. Let's find out what the problem is. We need to be direct. Direct means polite, but straight to the point. We focus on the important issues, ensure the right environment. You don't have to wait in the middle of something or general staff meeting and then start giving individual performance feedback. And then to the extent possible, remain calm. This is important, not just for the employer, but also for the employee. As a manager, if you create good environments, the staff are also able to give you feedback even without you asking. And then it becomes win-win for both yourself and the company, the business that you lead and you've started. So it's a two-way traffic. We have to give feedback as employers to the people we have employed, but also as the people we've employed, we can give feedback to our superiors and it will help our companies get better. Yeah. So our fifth and last one, that is the self-actualization one, is training that can be provided on job, because normally people come with particular skills, but you need to really ground them in work. We can provide on job trainings and then even give additional through classroom trainings. That is one of the ways we can help staff, and it feeds into development where we assign different roles, proactively promote people within the business. Actually, the time of assigning different roles, delegating, letting people work for you is ongoing training. If the policies of the organization allow, then we could be able to mentor on those jobs and bring people to a level where they're able to sit in for their managers and eventually get those positions as substantive. We could also rotate within different departments just to add knowledge. The world is now dynamic. It is important. For example, if today I'm finance manager, I could have an exchange and go on a learning visit with or sit in for my head of office, company director, CEO, or even go down to the production room, mixing room, just to learn and be able to input and assume different roles. Yeah. Finally, we can also coach if there are specific skill sets we want to pass to particular employers. So for this one, we really need to be able to identify the skill that is needed. You need to jointly agree and plan with the person you're going to coach, have clear expectations, demonstrate the skills required, and then be able to give the person you're coaching opportunity to practice the skills. And then we monitor performance, we provide feedback and guidance. So really, in summary, if we are able to ensure that the people we lead have their physiological needs met, I'm on the last slide. I hope you have also moved there. John? Yeah. If we're able to ensure that the people we lead have decent salaries, feel safe and secure in the environment, feel they belong to the team, it's not the company's team. We create an environment for constructive feedback, coaching, on-job training and growth. We move in the right trajectory for maximum productivity. And this leads to fulfillment, where when managers systematically address the 5 levels, organization, businesses, the outputs peak. Yeah, this is a summary. Yeah, and I hope we can be able to pick a thing or two. Thank you. Over to you, Joanne.
Thank you so much, Mary Stella, for this wonderful presentation. Many times when we are still at the university and we are studying Maslow hierarchy of needs, I didn't really realize then how it actually connects to the day-to-day employer-employee relationship. Not just employer relationship, but also as an employee, just like you explained, that even as an employee, you need to be able to check whether the company meets your basic company organization meets your basic needs. So thank you so much for making the Maslow hierarchy of needs real in real work environment and situation. And I just like your last quote here, which says, staff productivity is intrinsically linked to needs fulfillment. When managers systematically address these 5 levels, organizational output peaks. So before we start blaming our employees or our colleagues, we need to make sure to see that we are actually climbing the Maslow hierarchy of needs, and that we meet the basic needs first, and we are increasingly getting into safety, belonging, belonging, the esteem needs, as well as self-actualization. So thank you so much for taking us through that. Is there anyone with a question? Anyone with a question for Stella? And thank you for using your time very well. Many times we overrun, but you have actually left us with a few minutes for anyone to ask questions or just share one lesson or something that you've learned from this presentation. We can, in the meantime, as we wait for questions, we can give her deserved flowers. Okay, let me send a balloon. I failed to see the flower, but yeah, but the balloon is just to say thank you for this wonderful presentation. So in the chat, any question for Stella? Flowers are here in abundance. Thank you, Barbara, Jane. They have given you your flowers. There are so many claps. Any questions, comments for Mary Stella to address? Or was everything clear? Was everything clear? Okay. Yes, yes, Pascal.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joan, for bringing Stella to talk to us about this wonderful topic. And we surely appreciate, we have learned a lot. We even hoped we wished it had gone more than the time stipulated, but unfortunately, this is the available time which members have agreed on. So in terms of powering people for peak performance, sometimes as managers or leaders in an organization, you find people have also personal challenges in terms of their conducts. And a friend shared with me one time that like in an organization where she was working, she had a friend who was like, for us, she's like a programmer, then the other friend is a finance person. And at some point, they not affiliated, they promoted the person, this programmer, to act. But the friend, that was a very big problem for her to work. For the friend could not accept this, and everything the person is trying, like into powering people to perform to improve the organization. The friend was the one like trying to pull her down. Things should not move. How do you handle such a situation where somebody, for example, has failed to accept the change, and everything one tries to do, the person tries to pull the person down, and you find the team spirit is not there? It means like even when you are discussing, you want to push something positive, the person tries to pull the person down. That is what the friend had shared. I don't know how such can be handled. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pascal. Gladys, for that question. Stella, over to you, because in the rest of the chat, people are saying bravo, they're appreciating your presentation. Somebody is liking your presentation to personal and financial life, that it's certain small things once met, then can lead to bigger things achieved. Basically, there is mostly thank you in the chat. So you please go ahead to address Pascal's question.
Pastor, thank you very much. Maybe before I answer, I would like to ask from the group, we're all professors, if we can all give advert. After that, I'll come in here. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody wants to give it a try? Yeah. Before I come in also, I give my 2 cents.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then I'll come in, but the rest are also free to come in. One thing I'd say is at least it's half solved because it's not a group. Remember, when you have a team and you don't know where the problem is, it is hard to even resolve it. But you know who is, I don't want to use negative energy because that is also not good. Yeah. You know the person who is not very comfortable. It's okay. And it's good as a manager to have a one-on-one sitting with your staff. You could even sit with them and say, okay, let's look at this. This is what I think. What do you think? If you're not comfortable managing it, the two of you one-on-one, you could even invite a third person who is neutral. You sit together and you discuss, because many times the people who react like that, like you rightly said, have personal problems, but also are vulnerable, are scared by themselves. And sometimes when you drop down to that level and you talk with them, then you find the problem is solved. Because what a soldier out there can disorganize the team if you don't bring them on your side. So I would really recommend sitting down together, talking with this person. Maybe some of their fears are true, and maybe some are just fears. But once you talk, that is the only way you're able to come to a common ground, and then we can be able to work and power ourselves to excellency. This may even be your strongest ally if you talk and break the barriers. Yeah, that is what I would be able to give a comment and the feedback, because teamwork is important. Belonging, it's our thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Stella, for answering that question. There is also another comment here in the chat, or also like a question from Reste. She's saying, could you summarize step-by-step ways of motivation, especially when financial resources are very limited? As you know, money is a big motivator. So how can we motivate staff or people whom we employ when perhaps even there are not so much financial resources, using what you've presented to us?
Okay. Thank you very much, Resty, for that question. Still, I'm going to answer, but the other colleagues can also come in later. Yeah. One thing I'll say for sure is it's important to communicate, because right now, in this current form we are in, the humanitarian world, even government, what this gift Donald Trump has done has affected most organizations. So money is even scarce. If it was scarce before, it's now more scarce than ever. So one important thing is to be able to communicate, but the other is also to tell them the reality. If it's a business, depending on what it is, organizations, they have fixed salaries, they're structured, but there is also bonus pay. There is a appraisal outstanding, you get an increment. There are those things that organizations do. If it's a business, maybe the more you sell, the more customers you bring. There are all those kinds of things. At the end of the day, if they know it's our business, it's ours, it's bringing 10 million, then it may be hard for me to step you up to 20 million or even 1 million per month. But if we put effort together, we want more money, let's work harder, let's have this deliver, then we can be able to increase our money. It's also good. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, but it's good to let them know there is only one Jesus. He's the only one who changed the 5 loaves of bread and the fish to feed those people. So we have to put effort. We have to work hard. Yeah. And then when we are a team, that is it in terms of money being a motivator. We have to be real. But there are also personal things, when you work together and you become family and you become team. I'm not saying we should be Mother Teresa, but there are also ways teams can be able to help each other. Some people have joint savings they do together to be able to do something that will move them forward to the next direction. Sometimes it's just contribution. It's really being real, because come to think about it, if you're together, you realize of the 12 months in a year, you spend about 10 months together with these people. You spend most of your days together. You become like family. But as a manager, as a leader, it's good to be transparent. These are the salary structures. This is how we pay. You do this, you get an overtime. You do this, you get a bonus pay. If you're a business where you sell, the more money you get, the more profit. It makes life easy. Yeah, rest.
Thank you so much, Stella. You're actually, maybe you can mute. You mute yourself. Yes, because there's an echo coming. Yes, so when I saw this question, I started smiling and I was like, oh my God. Resta is speaking to the converted, running a consultancy company. I must say that sometimes there are dry spells when you don't have money. So as a company, what we have decided to do is to keep a lean staff. And we have associates that they know when there is work, they will be called upon. Otherwise, we're really not able to manage like day-to-day payroll because we don't have the money. When we have work, we call our associates, they come, we do the work, and we already have like a clear, like Stella said, a clear kind of maybe revenue sharing or something within the organization, because it's almost impossible to maintain staff January to January when really the work is like I was saying, Stella, many people say Trump trumped their jobs. The government rationalized them out, so they are out of jobs. So so it's really good also increasing. Sometimes I really struggle to explain this to some of my partners whom we work with. Like, we need to be able to link results to pay, because we cannot continue like pay people like monthly a salary when you don't have money. How do you do that? So when we argue and they refuse to listen to me, I just leave them and I say, okay. And then they hit the wall, because I mean, we need to also be able to link the pay to results or to some productivity. Yes, we know we need to be able to maintain the basic needs, but if you're not able to maintain the basic needs, what are the other arrangements that you can come into? So perhaps the business may not be that which can afford staff on a day-to-day, or also just be clear with the staff and say we are able, what we need you to do is ABCD. If you go somewhere else and do other work, help your staff or help the people you work with to be able to also do other things. Today I was reading about the gig economy, and they're saying people cannot really survive on salaries. So people are doing multiple other things. So as a manager, because you manager or employer, you know that you cannot really be able to pay a salary that can keep people on your work day in, day out. I agree with them that they are able to do other things, and it is agreed, and they know this time they will be here doing this ABCD, next time they will be here doing ABCD, so that we really see how to manage. And yeah, and really financial resources is increasing a difficult thing. But yeah, like Mary Stella also said, what are the other things that you can provide? Because it could be transport, sometimes it's even a meal. Like there are certain people who are willing to work somewhere if they can give them transport or give them something to eat. And you find that the person is having just one meal a day. So if the office at least can provide a meal, can provide transport, basics, and then agree that you can compensate when you have the money and things like that. So I hope those different sharings, because these are the challenges we encounter day to day. We have dry spells, we have wet spells. So those we work with need to be able to understand that sometimes we really don't have. But maybe the other one is when you have, but you refuse to pay, then that's now another thing. It's really being unfair, not unethical for you to be able to, you have, staff are working, they're bringing in the money, but you're not willing to pay. Now that's another conversation. But yeah, but I hope the sharing helps you rest it to see how we can balance. I think it's economy of balancing, balancing what can work for both employer and the employees. Okay, unless there is any other question, is there anything coming through the chat? Okay, so Pascal is saying great presentation, insights, very practical. Yeah, thank you so much. We sincerely wanted to share something to do with working labor, being the month of May. So we really felt like we needed to share something around working. How can we improve productivity, even amid these challenges of not having enough resources to hire maybe people full-time and all that. So we hope that this session has been quite helpful. If it has been quite helpful, type yes in the chat, then we know that the session has actually been helpful. And yes, and give Mary Stella her deserved flowers. Yes, thanks a lot. Okay, true, balancing the boat. Yes, we need to balance the boat on a daily basis. Yeah, okay. So it looks like everything is great. Hello, thank you so much. Great, yes, helpful. Thank you, Mary Stella. So yeah, thank you so much, Mary Stella, for this wonderful presentation. Maybe let me hand over to you if you have any parting shots. But for those who joined us late, Barbara reminded us about the wig, wildly important goal, and we said at Magister we have two major goals, widely important goals that we are going to be working on this year. One of them, some already we have already been able to achieve, but one of them is organizing a business boot camp. It's about people, planet, and profits. How can we balance people, planet, and profits? And then the other one is providing events management support to one of the largest Rwenzori Marathon campsite. So that's what we are up to. We are up to, yeah, seeing how can we help people with the different challenges that they have. So over to you, Mary Stella, for just your parting shots, and yeah, and we should be ready to go and complete our lunch.
Yes, Thank you very much, John, for the great job you're doing. Colleagues, thank you so much for coming for this session, for the feedback. Amidst the funding challenges, it is possible to motivate. It is possible to have high productive, high performing teams. Yeah. So together we can be able to contribute not just to our workforce, but the vision of our country, kicking out poverty. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Bye-bye.
lunch and the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Yes, we
Thank
shall
you.
share the recording. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mm.